I call the meeting to order right on time. So we've got to first recognize alternates.
Kelly Freeling for Bruce Teague of Iowa City, and that is it for now.
Announce them when they come in. Okay, so we want to consider approval of the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed, no. All right, the minutes are approved. And we'll be setting the board meeting date for our next meeting. See September 18th tentatively, so unless there's any huge objections, I'm sure that's what we'll be setting for.
Very good.
Just a FYI, since I'm the person from Johnson County here, I will not be here for that meeting. So,
You'll have an alternate then, I'm guessing.
I will have an alternate in my own backyard.
Yeah, that's too bad. All right. We'll move on. Our next item will be the public discussion of any item not on the agenda. Is anybody here that wants to present anything to the MPO board?
Mr. Byrne, I just had one thing I wanted to add before the public gets involved, if they have anything to add, is that Doug Elliott, for those of you that knew Doug Elliott, the director of the East Central Iowa Council of Governments, retired about 2 weeks ago now. And for those that worked with Doug, he was very good at his job, and he had been there, I think, since 1993, 94, 95, somewhere in that range. So he had a long-standing and good career with ECOG, and sorry to see him go. He was always a good colleague to work with, but congratulations to Doug.
All right, thanks, Kent. Okay, and I don't see any public comments. We'll move on to 3A. So Brad's handling this one. It's public hearing consideration of the resolutions of adoption and certification of the fiscal 2023 MPOJC Transportation Improvement Program.
Brad Newman, Assistant Transportation Planner. I want to go over the final TIP. This is our FY 20 to 23. That's submitted for your approval tonight. The annual TIP is our local programming document for federal and state surface transportation and transit projects. At your last meeting, you approved the draft TIP project list for surface transportation and transit projects. This included the transit apportionment approval that you did in January. In January, the MPO had just over $2.5 million to apportion for FY19. Section 5307 operating assistance. These funds were apportioned to the 3 transit agencies. So in FY20, you'll see in the TIP, that amount has gone up to over $2.8 million for Section 5307. And the estimates are reflected in the TIP. They basically took the same percentages, and I think we added 10% recommended by DOT, so we had enough money in there so we wouldn't have to go back and change it later. So that's where that number came from. The STBG and TAP projects were approved at your April meeting. This includes 2 new surface transportation block grant projects, and they include Coralville's 5th Street project, which is just over $1.6 million in STBG funding, and Tiffin's North Park Road project, which is $1.2 million. Both of these projects are programmed in the FY23. Iowa City's Dodge Street Improvement Program, or project, just over $3.7 million in STBG funding, also received STBG funding from the board, but it's programmed in FY24. So it doesn't show up in this TIP. It'll be in next year's TIP, the 21 to 24. There are also 3 transportation alternative program projects included. That's Coralville's Iowa River Trail Replacement Project. It's $548,000 in TAP funding. It's programmed in FY21. Iowa City's Highway 6 Trail Project. That was funded at $438,000 in TAP funding, and that's also programmed in FY21. Coralville's Clear Creek Trail Connection Project was funded at $212,000 and is programmed in FY22. North Liberty also received funding for their North Liberty Trail project, was over $648,000 in TAP funds, but it is programmed in FY24. So it will also show up in next year's TIP, the 21 to 24. Since you approved the draft TIP at your May meeting, we've had a few changes made. And I'm sure you all noticed this. DOT removed the IWV project from the list because it's under contract. So that was removed. Iowa City Transit requested that we add 2 replacement buses to the TIP. So those are new. Those are buses 657 and 659. They have some opportunity to replace those with electric buses, so they need to have those in the TIP. So we did add those. So those are the only changes since the draft. All projects under contract, like I mentioned with DOT, have been removed from the TIP. All STBG and TAP projects not completed in FY19 and carried over to FY20. We added 4% to the total cost, not to the amount that we funded, but just to the total cost for inflation. All Iowa DOT projects are in our planning area are also included in the TIP. And just to remind you that you did opt out of the federal aid swap. So all these projects will continue on as they have in the past. They'll be completed according to all the federal guidelines. In addition to the project list, the TIP also includes project status reports. That's for both local and DOT projects. It identifies regionally significant projects programmed in the TIP. It also includes the MPO's public input process, which was approved by the board in 2017. It includes the MPO's project selection procedures for the STBG and TAP projects, including the scoring criteria. It includes a fiscal constraint review of the TIP. A fiscal analysis of transportation projects was also completed. That's required by the Federal Transit Administration. Statements regarding performance planning measures for highway safety, pavement, bridge, freight, and transit asset management measures have also been added. And these measures have been approved by the board over the last few months, or over the last couple of years, I guess. The MPO, we did publish a TIP public notice, 30-day notice, in advance of today's meeting. And all agencies in the MPO's public input list were contacted. We also posted posters in all the fixed route buses regarding today's meeting. And we did receive one comment. There's an email attached from Amy Charles that's attached in your packet. That was a comment regarding the Bongo program, the system, and its effect on the ridership, is what that is about. Those comments were also forwarded to Iowa City Transit because they were specific to Iowa City Transit. Staff is requesting approval of the final TIP, and we will submit that to the Iowa DOT, Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Transit Administration by July 15th. Any questions on the TIP? Okay, we go into the public hearing then.
Okay, I don't hear any questions, so yeah, the public hearing will be next, so I'll open up public hearing. If there's anybody here to speak on this item, now would be the time. Okay, nobody's getting up, so we'll close the public hearing. And now we'll move on to the next item, which will be consider the resolution adopting fiscal year 2020-23 Transportation Improvement Program for the Iowa City Urbanized area and authorizing the MPOJC chairperson to sign the documents.
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Second? Okay. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, that's approved. Okay, next item will be consider resolution certifying the compliance with federal requirements for conducting the urban transportation planning process in the Iowa City urbanized area. Motion for action? Yeah, looking for a motion. Thanks.
moved.
Thanks, motion. Second? All right, any other discussion? Hearing nothing. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? No? All right, that's approved as well. Okay, we're on to 3B. This is an update from DOT District 6 staff on the I-380 corridor projects, and I think this is Kathy's.
Hi, I'm Kathy Cutler. I'm with the Iowa DOT District 6 office in Cedar Rapids. With me, come on up, Newman, is Newman Abuisa. He's our staff, our resident construction engineer now. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Newman Abuisa, resident construction engineer for the Iowa Department of Transportation, Cedar Rapids.
So we were asked to come and talk about the 8380 project and other DOT projects in the area. In your packet is just a simple list of activities for the next 4 years for the project. We were successful in getting an infra grant from the federal government for $50 million. What that essentially did was shave a year of construction off the project. Fingers crossed, maybe it'll be a little more, but we need some cooperative weather. I don't want to read all through these. Really, the basic work this year is building the eastbound 80 to northbound 380. You see those big piers under construction up there? That will hold the elevated highway. All those cloverleaf ramps are going to be replaced with what we call directional ramps that will be elevated, so it will be fairly high in the air. The geography of the area really lent itself well to that. What that also means is trucks especially won't need to slow down on the cloverleaf ramps. They'll be able to maintain a higher speed, and then merging will be a lot easier. In addition to that, we are 6-laning 80 and a portion of 380 through the area, actually 8-laning some parts of Interstate 80. In addition, we'll have auxiliary lanes out there. I don't know, do you want to say anything more about 8380?
Just 80 will be elevated about 6-7 feet on the east side of 80 around the creek, Clear Creek, and that will be higher than what is today, and it will be about that much lower on the west side. So we're trying to balance the interchange. So you'll see when we get the median going construction, you will see elevated piling basically to build the center 2 lanes, and then we'll divert the traffic to the center 2 lanes, and then work on each side in the next 3-4 years.
We do have a dedicated website, 8380, if you just search for that. We try to drive the public to that website for impacts to their travel. Eventually, people will be taking detours, such as going up to the new Forever Green Road interchange, flipping around and coming back south. So we know there will be construction delays. We have identified those delays, the worst years as 2021 to 2022. Really, through traffic is less impacted. It's when you're changing directions, say you're going south and you want to go east. That's when you're going to be detouring. So we can take any questions about 8380.
I have a question.
Sure.
So currently, as you're coming east on 80, right around the 380 thing, you have, as you're trying to get over to exit, you've got oncoming. And so it just always seemed illogical to me that you would have the on-ramp before the off-ramp. Are those going to be changed so you don't have to crisscross over people trying to speed up while you're trying to slow down?
Yeah, this whole project is to eliminate all the weaving. We call this a weaving movement, and this project will eliminate all the weaving. We have 4 weaving movements, 2 on I-80 and 2 on I-380, and all 4 of them will be eliminated, but we'll have to wait 4 years until the project is finished.
I can wait. Thank you.
I have a question regarding the trail that is going from Tiffin to Coralville and under 380. We're starting to work a detour. Is that trail going to be closed really the next 3 to 4 years, completely closed, or are there times it's open so people can use it?
When there's active construction, we have to close it just for safety to everybody. I don't believe it's going to be closed that many years, though. Do you know?
The trail is not complete right now, and it's not open. And the city of Coralville chose not to build the trail under the Clear Creek bridges now, because the Clear Creek bridges will be elevated 6 more feet higher than what they are now, and that will allow for more space under the bridges. So in lieu of building it now and not having enough room, the city of Coralville deferred the section within our right-of-way to build it with our projects. So our projects will be in 3 stages. We'll be building the median and then on each side. So that will take about 3 or 4 years, and that will be, I guess, the trail will not be open until all those bridges are elevated and it's open to traffic.
And that's when Coralville will finish that last section?
And that is what we have, we will have an agreement with the city of Coralville where we will build part, I guess part of the grading will be on us and part of the paving will be on them.
Okay. Well, we're, to get our trail connected to Coralville, we're thinking of running through our soccer fields up to 380, up to Highway 6, maybe under that bridge on your shoulder, and then down to the Coralville, the road, West Core, where the driveway back to Beiser and those businesses. And maybe, so I don't know, we'll have to talk to Coralville too about that a little bit. But if it's gonna be 3 years, our trail can't really be connected until Coralville finishes that section. So is that something that you may allow us to run our trail up through our soccer fields up to your shoulder for a little ways? Or
On
is
the
that
shoulder of the freeway is not on the,
on 6?
on Highway 6.
Six.
Highway 6, yes, I mean, that is
Maybe?
a possibility, yes.
Okay, well, we'll probably be in
We work with you.
contact.
We paved Highway 6 shoulders to kind of be prepared for that kind of situation. So we paved them last year, and we paved an extra wide shoulders on Highway 6 without rumble strips. They can be used by pedestrians and possibly others.
Today they can.
Today they can be. Well, today I guess we are doing some construction as part of the I-80, I-380. The city of Coralville is doing a water main under the bridges as of yesterday. So there is some construction going on in conjunction with the I-80, I-380 project, which should be done soon here in this construction season. But the bridges will take a long time, 3-4 years, and that's what Highway 6 paved shoulder could be used for.
If we use that paved shoulder for the trail, it's not wide enough for the south side of Highway 6 to have two-way traffic on the shoulder for bikes, is there probably? So people headed east will have to go on the north side of Highway 6, or can they share a two-way traffic on that shoulder?
That will require some analysis, and
Okay.
I think the city will have to propose something, and we'll have to evaluate it. Those options were not proposed at this point, and we have not evaluated them.
Well, the concern is we want pedestrians and bicycles not to have cross Highway 6 for the county trail if possible, to stay on the south side, but we'll talk to you about that, more about
Yeah,
that,
I
if we
mean-
can keep going forward then. Okay, that answers my question.
I mean, there will be some signals, new signals in the city of Tiffin, which will allow, I guess, traffic to cross within the city of Tiffin. And then when they get to the city of Coralville, there will be spots also to cross. But in between, it's not an easy situation. The roundabout will accommodate some pedestrian.
Yeah, the roundabout will be there, and it should be done by the end of our construction season, so maybe that will be a way to cross if we need to, but, okay.
I'm curious if you could elaborate at all, when the DOT considers widening or adding additional lanes, as part of that ordinary planning process, is there any consideration of the impact on carbon emissions? And secondly, related to that, what is the anticipated impact related to safety if you're talking about higher speeds on the interstate? Because I don't necessarily view that as a good thing because of a possible safety impact. If you could just elaborate on those 2 points.
We use federal highway funds, so we have to follow the NEPA process. Part of that is an evaluation of the environment, including the air quality. When we're adding lanes, it's for more traffic, so there naturally is going to be some degradation to the air quality. I don't know specifically carbon stuff if we get into that. We have a whole department of people in Ames that this is what they do. Safety-wise, as far as the speed for those ramps, I'm talking more like 50 miles an hour, so it's much more smooth. So we do believe it will be a safer movement. And again, as you referenced, those weaving movements are very
Interchange needs to
dangerous
be done.
today.
Yep.
Yeah, it just makes traffic smoother.
The speed is not for the main line. The speed will be maintained as is on the main line today. The only speed which we are changing here is the changing from I-80 to I-380 or vice versa. Now you have to go down to 20, from 55 or 65 down to 25, back to 65. And that will generate emission as well. And we are trying to make that movement down to 65, down to 55, back to 65, which is a lot, like Kathy said, smoother movement and should be more efficient and more environmental friendly as well.
Kathy, I had one quick question. I might have missed this. Does the infra grant shorten the project at all?
By about a year,
By
but
about a
it's
year.
at the end.
Okay.
So we compress the schedule essentially,
good.
and we're hoping more than a year, but it's weather, so.
Good. A year
Yeah.
would be good.
Yep. I will put in a plug for Quarter Rides, since Kent brought up ECOG. They're managing this program for us. We're actually putting project funds into the express bus to support that bus during the 3 years of construction. Right now, ridership is about 250 trips per day. It starts early enough in the morning to service University of Iowa hospitals and clinics. They also are doing seasonal Saturday services that will go to the Coral Ridge Mall, just so shoppers can use it. We've had really good feedback, especially some elderly drivers that don't like to drive on the interstate system are taking that bus during the midday when it's not as busy. Then they're able to get to their medical appointments. So it's been a very positive thing. Hopefully it can continue on its own after our project is up. I do have a lot of these if anybody wants to take them back and put them out for people. They also have a van pool for employees, and they also have rideshare matching. So there's 3 programs really with that. I'll talk a little bit about some more studies that we have. We have an additional study on 380 from north of Forever Green Road to just short of Highway 30. That's a planning and environmental linkages study. What that does is take a look at the corridor. We do think it needs to be 6 lanes. We're really hoping not to ever have it be 8 lanes. So we're looking at some alternative ways to manage that traffic. One of those is hard shoulder running, where we beef up the shoulder to the point where it can carry traffic at certain times of the day. Perhaps that express bus could be on that hard shoulder. This is one way to help us not have to widen out to 8 lanes, but better manage the traffic and the growth in the area. That study will be wrapping up at the end of this year. It does look at different interchange types, both for the Penn 380 interchange and Wright Brothers up near Cedar Rapids, to make those more accommodating for the left turns that we see there. The interchange at Swisher likely will remain a rural diamond. We also have a project coming to widen Interstate 80. This would be east of Iowa City to the West Branch area. That will be widened out to match what it is kind of through the metro areas. We will be buying the right-of-way this year. The construction for that is state fiscal years 21 through 24. We also have a project that jumps then to the Cedar-Scott area, again to widen to 6 lanes. You want to talk about one?
Few more projects, I guess. I see the city of Iowa City is here too, but I'll just cover a couple projects, I guess. Highway 6, or what we call Riverside Drive in Iowa City here, is about to wrap up. We are overlaying this project with the conjunction with the city of Iowa City, and I think the project is almost complete. It will be done the end of this week, I hope. Also, we finished the Governor Street resurfacing, and we are still working on the Governor Street bridge over Clear Creek, and we are hoping to get that finished before school opens next season for University of Iowa. The LL Pelling have the asphalt projects here, and they are moving to do the microsurfacing on I-80 between 151, interchange with 151 all the way to I-380, and that's for the eastbound only. We are just putting a microsurfacing. It's a very thin layer to protect the surface and make it smoother, and that will take only a couple of weeks. The work will be at night only. We have also a few projects on Highway 1, south of Iowa City, around County Road 52, and those there's 4 bridges: Old Man Creek, Old Woman Creek, and some overflow culverts and bridges. There's a total of 4 of them, and they'll be under construction in 2020. And there will be a detour for Highway 1 for part of the construction. We are accelerating the construction to allow construction to for all those 4 bridges within one season, and allow also access to the property owners at all times. So that will require us to do some bridges at a fast pace to open it back up and to do the other bridges. However, part of the construction season, Highway 1 will be closed, and the detour will be on 22 and Highway 218 in Johnson County. Well, part of it in Washington County as well. On the south side. So those are in general. I guess Burlington Street also, we are working with the city of Iowa City to pave that part of that portion of Burlington Street between the Iowa River and Capitol Street, and we've done some patches there too. So those are general, I guess, annual bridge repairs, and we have also the bridge over Prairie du Chien over I-80 is in the program for 2022, I think, or 23 actually, 23. So those are the bridges and roads in our program. Some of them are done and some of them will be coming up. If you have any questions for Kathy and I?
So, heading north on 380 at, well, between 4:30 and 5:30, the exit at North Liberty is a huge danger. So will this widening project accommodate exiting traffic so that you don't have to stop on the freeway?
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the things with Forever Green is it's going to change the traffic
North of
patterns.
that. North of that.
Right, but the new Forever
Oh, I
Green,
see.
I think people that live south will take that instead of going up to Penn and then backtracking. So we're going to monitor that. Again, that Penn interchange is something we're looking at to modify and rebuild. It really is just too small for the traffic that uses it today. So we want to really see how Forever Green Road helps Penn, and that's going to help us decide where on 380 we may start construction projects.
And the Forever Green Road, the Forever Green Bridge over I-380 will be 5 lanes versus what we have on Penn Street now is only 2 lanes. So we'll have a lot more capacity at the interchange with Forever Green Road than what we have on Penn Street, but Penn Street is very old interchange and served very well for the last few years, few decades actually. And we will be looking at the improvements with the new study between Forever Green Road and Highway 30.
Will there be a bike lane on that Forever Green overpass?
Yes.
Thank you.
There'll be a bike lane and a sidewalk. Bike lane, I believe, on the south side and the sidewalk on the north side. We are doing it within the interchange area, but the cities actually will have to be responsible for outside the interchange area to make the connection.
So a separate trail and a sidewalk.
I see.
Sidewalk on the north side and trails on the south side.
Thank you.
So not in the lane of traffic, but.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, just a couple things left. Other business? Oh, sorry, ECOG update. We got from the Johnson County Citizen Representative.
Yeah, we may be moving on to other business. I don't
Okay.
see that Randy was able to make
Yeah.
it, so we'll try and catch up with him at our September meeting.
Yeah, we can get the update on that later, so. Okay, other business then, yeah. Anything else you need to bring up, Kent, or anybody else?
We're gonna have a record, make it through our meeting in record time.
Yeah, less than a half hour, so.
Nobody complains about short meetings.
Yeah, all right, we'll get a motion to adjourn in a second, and we'll be out of here.
So moved.
So moved in a second. I don't know who the second was, but all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're adjourned.